So let's see, practical application, writing with foods, chocolate letters. It is forbidden to attach molded chocolate letters to a cake. So I mean, what does mean attach? That's how you write. You understand? Even these letters were molded before, does not make any difference. Next one, carving foods. It is forbidden to carve or mold any food item into meaningful shape. For example, one may not carve a piece of melon in the shape of flower, or a piece of cake in the shape of a letter. Okay. Also, one may not mold the tuna salad or the egg salad in the shape of the fish. So some people will take with a fork and make some lines on top of the tuna salad. It's not a problem because those lines are meaningless. But if you try to shape in the forms of the fish, that's of course the problem. Even though it's food and even though it's edible, but it's not done for the purpose of the food. The food is taste good as well without these shapes. Next one, whipped cream icing. It is forbidden to write letters or draw pictures with a whipped cream or icing. Okay. So that's very clear. Unless, as we said, if you want to put a line around it, that's not a problem. Okay, but some other like meaningful letters would be forbidden. Okay. So let me see how long is it. Okay. Continue. Cutting decorative figures on a cake. Of course, it's not a Jewish cake would not come like that. Like if they know it is for Yom Tov, they would not sell you like something like that. If it's on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, for example, on like a weekday, yeah, there is no problem. They can sell you with the flowers, this and that. There is no problem, right? But not on the Shabbos and Yom Tov. So it's plain. Whatever, like this decoration is very, very like simple. Why? What is the problem? Because you're not allowed to erase. So, for example, if you bought in a non-kosher bakery, let's say you bought a cake, let's say it's a kosher cake, right? And there you have flowers, and it says happy birthday or something. So you're not allowed to cut the letters, because when you cut the letter, you destroy it. When you cut in the middle of the flower, you destroy it. Okay, of course, you can cut between the flowers or some other decoration. That's not a problem between the letters, but you have to be very careful. And to eat in this cake, there is no problem, because that's the normal way of doing things. So it's not like you destroying the letter, right? You're only eating. So, but okay. So let's see. Cutting decorative figures on Yom Tov. If cake is decorated with frosting in a form of words, as we said, a Jewish bakery would never ever do it. Letters or any distinct object, it is forbidden to cut cake in a way that deforms the letters or ruin the pictures, right? So meaning, of course, there are solutions if you cut the cake before the Yom Tov. Okay, you can cut before the Yom Tov. Right, and don't attach it back, or like leave it a little not pull back, and that's it. Right, so you did preparation before the Yom Tov, or don't. If you already bought a cake like that, right? So one more time, if cake is decorated with a frosting in the forms of the words, letters of any distinct object, it is forbidden to cut the cake in a way that deforms the letters or ruin the pictures. For example, if cake say happy birthday written on it, it is forbidden to cut through letters. So like cut between letters, no problem, but through letters is a problem. It is also forbidden to peel the letters of the cake. That's another issue, right? This pertains to letters made of hard chocolate as well. Okay, so the following however are permitted. So, but you can just so you know, we can take the letter, like let's say we have chocolate number or something, like whatever. So you can take it with a cream with a top. So if you take it with something else, not the letter of number separately, there is no problem whatsoever. Okay. And if you buy in a Jewish bakery, like on Friday or something before the Yom Tov, they would give you like this chocolate plate, like thick plate, and they write whatever you want on it, and then they stick into the cake. That's it. So of course, like everybody sees happy birthday to this and this, and they take it out because it's plate. It's not attached. Like it's all like on one sheet of chocolate, and they put it aside and cut the cake. There is no problem, right? So that's the most kosher way to do that. So number one, it is permitted to cut between the letters. Okay, so as we said, but even though I would say like and somebody told me some time ago, right? Yeah, but you can cut through the letters, right? I say wrong. So like because all of the just think about it. So like all of the pieces are going to be crooked, like a different size. Like it would be abnormal, like normal cake. So when you cut cake, you want to be all of the nice pieces, right? Symmetric and stuff like that. But here it's like up, like a. It's not. It would not look very good, right? To say the least. One is bigger and one is smaller, and you cannot make it smaller because there is like in the middle you have a letter. Okay. But technically, that's what you should do. Number two, if letters were cut before Yom Tov, it is permitted to separate the pieces of Yom Tov. And as I said, I think it's like the most practical, right? So you cut completely you cut the cake, and then pull, like leave as it is, or like pull back a little. Okay. So they would not like make these words again. So it would be like disconnected. Number three, it is permitted to bite into a piece of cake that has a complete letter on it, even though the letter will thereby be destroyed. Okay, so again, it's not your intention. You just want to eat the cake, and then that's it. And sometimes actually, sometimes when you buy this, they call it tea biscuits, right? They like tea biscuits, and on there is some writings on them. Mm-hmm. So it's not on the case, like the company name. I don't know. I think the company name, or sometimes they would have some molded like images, even animals, maybe birds. I don't know, something. Okay. So continue. Actually, let me read the whole sentence again. It is permitted to bite into the piece of cake that has complete letter on it, even though the letter will be destroyed. Okay, as we explained, only cutting prior to eating is prohibited. Right, so that's it. Eating, no problem. Continue. Next one, number 4. It is permitted to cut decoration that are not meaningful shapes, for example, straight or curved lines. I mean, right, so there is no problem. Continue, number 5. It is permitted to cut figures that are baked into the fiber of the cake itself. And, okay, into the bake cake itself. And it is permitted to cut cake or cookie that has a meaningful shape. For example, gingerbread man, animal, crackers. Okay. It is forbidden only to cut letters or figures that of another substance attached to the cake. So let's. So this is very interesting. So let's do this 5 number one more time. it is permitted to cut figures that are baked into the fiber of the cakes itself. So meaning if it was baked like this, because all these previous examples that we discussed, first they bake the cake and they apply the frosting, all of this decorations. So they scream this frosting. It's like separate from the cake. They cook it separately and they bake the cake separately. But sometimes they would have this like forms or something, like bake forms where they bake, and sometimes there would be some meaningful shapes. So when my wife needed one, so we bought like specifically like with a straight line. I mean, it looks nice, but nothing like no meaningful shapes. Okay. So, but if they are, whatever is it, so that there is no problem, you can cut them. Because why? Because only that was something that was attached it's forbidden. Okay. So one more time, so it's permitted to cut the figures that are baked into the fibers of the cake itself. We explained, and it is permitted to cut the cake or cookie that has a meaningful shape. So meaning that the whole cookie is this meaningful shape. Gingerbread man. I'm not sure if it's good for kids, for example, to eat man, right? And these animal crackers also a problem. They have all of the animals there, right? Because it's for little kids, for fun and education. So even though like it's it's kosher cookies and stuff like that, like but still a kid puts into his mouth like a horse or something. That's the problem. I mean, like psychologically for a kid. It is forbidden only to cut letters or figures that of another substance attached to the cake. So if it's like the whole cookies were made in some kind of shape, there is no problem. Okay. Continue. Number 6. It is permitted to peel off letters, a letter along with a thin sliver of cake or frosting, right, on which it rests, so that the letter actually remains attached to the surface from which it has been affixed. Okay, so I think it would be maybe the best solution. So if you have already this happy birthday stuff, and if you can cut off, it's not going to look very pretty, right? But I think it's still better than try to carve between letters. It's like cut between letters. It's not very aesthetic, to say the least. Okay. So let's see. Any questions on what we said?
Rabbi?
Yes.
So would toilet paper be handled the same way or similarly to Shabbos? Do we have to recut all the pieces before Yom Tov? Or?
Yes, yeah. But we have to pre-cut, and with toilet paper there are two different melachas. Actually, it's not those. First of all, even though I understand what I mean, sometimes there is like I don't know, some animals or something like meaningful figures, right? But when you like tear normally on perforations, you're not going to destroy them. So with the cutting toilet paper on Shabbos and Yom Tov, there are two issues. One is a cutting to specification, right? So that's why there's a separate melachah. We're not allowed to measure. We're not allowed to cut to specification, right? So it's because you're going to cut on perforation. It's even though it's not like you mean exactly like two squares or three squares of the toilet paper. That's it's not like you measure. Yeah, but when you tear on a perforation, that's exactly what you do. That's exactly what you do. Right. And second issue is a tearing. We're not allowed to tear. So even though in this case, of course, you're dealing destructive. No, it's not in destructive fashion. You're constructive. Right, so you actually make it something usable. So maybe it's even maki bipatish, I think. I mean, a few issues with that. Right, of course, none of them are biblical, of course, and all of them are rabbinical. But we prepare all of the toilet paper before, right? In advance, cut, have a box like from a facial tissue or something, or whatever people do. And just put there many cut papers, and that's it. And you use them on Shabbos and Yom Tov. Okay, so several issues. Of course, that there is a possibility. I mean, somebody like forgot, or I don't know, or you thought that you have enough, and now they fell into the sink or something. I don't know. So something happened, right? So or you somewhere in somebody else's house, let's say, right? And they now you realize they don't have it, or maybe they do have it, but they forgot to put out, right? And Shabbos started. Of course, they know where the tissue is. Maybe they're like in a closet, like outside of the restaurant. So what are you going to do? You're going to scream from behind the door. Where do you keep these tissues? Like it's very embarrassing. Right, and our sages were very careful to preserve the dignity of a person. So some leniency would apply because of preserving the dignity. And in this case, they say, okay, you would be allowed to cut the toilet paper in very unusual manner. So they offer like few advices. So I'm not going to repeat them because I don't find them very practical. So, I mean, okay, for whatever reason, all of them. So the most practical, the way I see it, and I got stuck a few times, right? And that's what I use. So you can cut, like, first of all, not on perforation, that's for sure. So it between, like in the middle of the square, that's where you cut. And if you cut, you can cut with the teeth. That's where you cut with the teeth. If you cannot cut with the teeth, then you can cut with the elbow or something. So you cut with the elbows. So, but not with the hands because it's normal way. But teeth, I think it's the best solution. And again, not the same sizes. So all of this, whatever, how many pieces you need of paper, all of them should be different sizes. Okay, but the proper way, of course, to prepare beforehand. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, you're welcome.